Right, of course, because I should know who that is.
I don't care what you think.
I'll
tell you something that rubbed me right.
Felger and Mazz on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
I thought Boston was out of this. I know Boston was out of this. And I was wondering if they were playing possum or not. I think they were playing little possum. I think they were in on Giannis. So I'm not recanting what I said before. I don't really know the reasons for it. Maybe they felt like Miami's offer is an offer they could beat. Maybe they wanted to drive. Maybe they want to drive the price of Miami's offer up, and they don't actually have interest in him. But as I said over and over again, Giannis is pushing for Miami or Boston. Those are the two locations, and really wants to end up in Boston because it would have the best chance to win a title. And I think Boston is not ruling out the idea. Is my intel.
Are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured, not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Then visit catcheslaw.com. Big Jim Murray, Mazz alongside from our Town Fair Tire Studios here in Waltham. Hi, guys.
Good, you.
Hello.
So what we do is we open up the phones. We've released the hounds already at 617-779-0985. You jump on. We'll go to you opening segment. If you're ready, we'll fill the interim with some opening takes. I'll go first. We played Bill Simmons right there. That was from yesterday. Maybe we're a little bit behind on this story. We didn't do much on it yesterday, but there were multiple reports yesterday that the Celtics are very much in on Giannis, and this is still very much alive. Giannis to Boston. And Bill Simmons went on to say, I don't know if it was in that clip or another one, that he would not rule anything out in Boston. Kevin O'Connor, you'll hear this cut coming up, formerly of The Ringer, now of Yahoo, says the Celtics are shopping everyone but Jason Tatum. So let's unpack this stuff and discuss this today, because, again, we didn't do much of it yesterday. And I would just say, Simmons said in there, Mazz, that he doesn't know what they're doing. And I would agree. I am curious what this is about, because I think trading out Jaylen Brown for Giannis is a mistake. And to me, it's so wrong that I can't believe they would want to do it unless there is some side reason. And that side reason would be Jaylen Brown wants out.
Correct.
And has made it known. And now they have to sort of make the best of a bad situation. Okay, that would be a reason. Not that I would endorse that. I would just say, tough. You're not going anywhere. But, that would explain it. Jaylen Brown is contract eligible, extension eligible this offseason. You could tack on 2 more years to the 3 that he's got left. And at 70 per, maybe you don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. And he wants it. And there's an impasse there. And so, again, I wouldn't trade him for that reason, but at least it would explain it. Maybe it's all bullcrap and the Celtics are just in on Giannis because they want to add Giannis to Brown and Tatum. That I can wrap my head around. But someone's got to explain to me what's going on. And then there's the whole luxury tax thing on top of it. They have to be under the luxury tax in one of the next 3 years to get out of the repeater penalties. And I know, Scal, for example, has said they get under the tax this year, then slingshot their way to another championship coming up. So that's sort of a backdrop. I think Giannis is also extension eligible. So you're going to trade him and sign him, but you got to get under the I'm a little confused what they're doing. So I know that's not much of a take, but that it is. That's my opening take. 617-779. Someone explain it to me. 617-779-0985. Who's next?
I'll go. I mean, I have a theory on Giannis, but I'll save that, or what the Celtics are doing, rather, but I'll save it for later.
Okay, I look forward to it.
Okay, I want to focus on the Red Sox here for a moment, because Sam Kennedy has been saying all season long that, and actually, I'll tell you what he's been saying all season long. I had Jimmy pull the cut, because every time he does a weekly interview with Tom Caron of Nesson, and Caron has asked him over and over and over again about the state and direction of the team, Sam Kennedy has expressed confidence in the club. We think we're going to turn it around. We think we're going to hit. We need some warm weather. It's all a matter of time, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm paraphrasing, because it has always sounded something like this.
We want to take that next step forward. We think this group can do it. So there's a lot of confidence and belief.
Except that he's not saying that anymore.
There's always a layer of bullcrap that we didn't get this week, did we?
Okay. No, we didn't get the bullcrap. I was right. Which should tell you plenty. about where they are and where they think they're going and what is coming down the road, more importantly, because yesterday he did his weekly interview on our competitors down the dial and said, look, let's be honest. Unless things change dramatically, we may have to pivot here from what our initial planning was. It just wouldn't be responsible to do otherwise. So now here we are, a third of the way through the season, and all of a sudden it's, we don't have confidence, so you're not getting that bull crap anymore. What you are getting is, well, we may have to pivot here and do something we didn't want to do, which means they are preparing to sell at the deadline. And I will just add, he did leave himself a little wiggle room. He said, we got to see how things go here over the next couple of weeks. But at this point, it sounds to me like the Red Sox have waved the white flag on 2026. They are prepared to unload players, veteran guys in particular. That would mean Sonny Gray or Aroldis Chapman, provided that Brian Cashman gives him an apology. But whatever, you get the idea. I'll get to that story later, or maybe we'll get to it later. If you haven't read it, Google it. But the point is, they're getting ready to cut bait. They don't believe in this team anymore either. They tried to hold out every hope that they would turn it around. They haven't turned it around. And if they have to sell at the deadline, Craig Breslow's toast. I can't see him making it to the end of the season if they're declaring if they're waving a white flag on this season, which is effectively what they're doing. I don't see how Craig Breslow can survive it.
Murray.
The Carolina Hurricanes with last night's 4-2 win, one win away from winning the Stanley Cup. A lot of that also has to do with the continued suckiness of Vegas goalie Carter Hart, who now owns, did you know, the hideous stat where he is the first goalie in the history of the NHL to allow 4 or more goals in the first 5 games of a Stanley Cup final series. He was also the first to do it in the first 4 games of a Stanley Cup final series. He has sucked. Generational suck from Carter Hart. And it's not like Frederik Andersen was playing that much better. We know that before he got pulled, but at least he might have a legitimate excuse in that he lost his mentor and really good friend, Claude Lemieux, who took his own life a couple of weeks ago, and that's probably weighing heavily on him. Fine. But what's Carter Hart's excuse? Oh, I know what it is. It's what you've said, Mike. He's a guy. He's just a guy. And so when you have just a guy as a goalie, and he's become a sieve in the Stanley Cup final, which you led 2-1, logic would probably tell you, hey, maybe we should try something different so we don't blow this series. So let's check in with Vegas Golden Knights interim head coach and gaping a-hole, John Tortorella, after last night's 4-2 loss.
Left side standing up.
John, did you consider at all going to Aiden Hill in the third period, or was there any conversation you thought about it?
Oh, Christ, that could be the stupidest question I've heard.
That was handled well. Oh, Christ, what a stupid question. What an a-hole.
He is such an a-hole.
And so he's begun, I think it's clear, he has begun to really crack in this series and he's turned into Torts, the guy that flames out everywhere and hasn't won a cup in 22 years, last did it with the Lightning in 2004. So yeah, why consider replacing your suck goalie who's given up a record number of goals in this Stanley Cup final when you have a Stanley Cup winning goaltender sitting on the bench? But sure, oh, crap, what a dumb question. And I know, look, Aiden Hill was not great this past season, but it literally can't be worse than what Carter Hart has done so far. So reap what you sow, you a-hole. This stubborn a-hole act is going to help cost them this series. I've kind of turned. I was rooting for Vegas, but he's such a prick. Now I want the Hurricanes just to win for spite.
I'm with you, Murray. I want Vegas, and then I watched Tortorella in the post game, and I'm like, I don't want this guy to win.
Yeah,
he's brutal.
I can't do it. I can't root for him.
So those are opening thoughts. What are yours? 617-779-0985. Brandon in Boston, why don't you lead us off?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for taking my phone call. So, I do believe Jaylen Brown is out of here, but I think Brad Stevens is definitely going to do Jaylen Brown a solid where he makes sure that he goes to the Atlanta Hawks. But this creates so much buzz. It's exciting. If Giannis comes here, the Boston Celtics will have Giannis, and they get to face the Bucks, and then Jaylen Brown with the Hawks coming to Boston facing his old team. It brings so much excitement. And, if that gets done, it's great. But they still need a big man and a point guard if they're going to get Giannis here. But I think it brings some good buzz.
It'd be a sexy trade. Giannis is a huge name. I think you're getting worse on the floor. You're getting older, and you're getting much more injury risk. I don't understand why they would do it.
The only reason
what is your theory, Mazz?
That Brown wants out, and they are exploring everything possible to determine what the best avenue is. So, if they've come to the conclusion that they have to move Brown because he wants out, then they're looking at everything, and that's why, Simmons says he doesn't know whether or not they're trying to drive up the price, or I don't think they're looking to drive up the price.
Did you see his tweet yesterday?
I think they're looking for a path is what I think they're looking for, and they just don't know what it is yet.
Jaylen Brown's tweet about the rice?
Yes, right. So I'm asking Mazz. So
no, I didn't see that.
So after these two reports yesterday, Simmons and Kevin O'Connor, Jaylen Brown tweeted, your neighbor's rice isn't always, The neighbor's rice always smells better. So, this bothers me because I don't speak internet.
Okay, that's got to be the grass is always greener.
Yeah, I guess it's something like that. But, I'm just it's so annoying having to read into the passive-aggressive. Sure. Or talking in memes or talking in. I just what are you saying, man? That's what he's saying? So, the grass isn't always greener.
No, in this case, he's saying that the grass always looks better on the other side of the fence.
Is he saying that to the Celtics? So Holly's interpretation was he's saying to the Celtics, Giannis, I know how Giannis looks, but sometimes the other guy's rice isn't always all that great.
Could be that.
Which would imply he wants to be here. Stu, do you have a theory on all this?
I do. I think it's a value thing. I think the coach, Joe Mazzulla, really wants Giannis. I feel strongly in saying that he really wants Giannis. And on the coach's value chart, it's Tatum and everybody else is movable. So my opinion is Giannis greater than Jaylen Brown to pair with Jason Tatum because that's what the coach wants.
That's a mistake.
They're going to defer to that guy?
I was just going to say that. That's a mistake. If they're going on his decision-making. If Stevens wants it for some reason, that's one thing. Or if Brown wants out, that's another thing. I would not let Joe Mazzulla dictate that decision.
Someone has to explain this to me. Jeff in Fitchburg, comment line, Felger's sweater comment.
No idea.
What did I say anything about a sweater?
No, I have no idea.
Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, your sweater last Friday said Felger on it.
Oh, yeah.
F-L-E-G-E-R.
That's correct.
Okay, I didn't know if you noticed that.
I did.
I think Anthony Tocumbo would be at least you wouldn't shoot 3-pointers all the time. You might hit a few layups.
Okay.
It'd be an upgrade over Brown. Brown wants out anyway.
Okay, if he wants out, why is he tweeting about the rice?
Because it smells better on the other side.
What's
of the
the rice comment? What's
his way of saying that maybe the food over there is better than it is over here, and I'm ready to go.
Maybe he's saying everybody who's wishing for something greater, it isn't always greater. I mean, I
can interpret it however you want.
I mean, why does he just come and say what he means?
I don't believe that Jaylen Brown wants to leave the Celtics.
I do.
You do?
I do. I think ultimately he wants his own gig. Yep.
And Stu, you think though this is the coach, and by extension Tatum,
and Derek White,
That's the cabal.
I think that's your three-headed monster, so to speak.
Okay, it's a mistake. Never mind, you're getting older. Never mind, you're getting but Giannis is a time bomb injury wise.
I agree.
I mean, how many times has he pulled up with that calf? So that's just waiting to happen. And he's overrated as a player. He's even at his best, I told you, he's overrated. And he is. He was a great player, and I love him for the championship. And he used to have also stand for all these great things that I think was a departure in the NBA and sort of a refreshing change in the NBA, but he's been poisoned. Now, just like every a-hole NBA superstar, they have to hold the plane for him. So you want to bring in all that mess? I just don't get that. Cameron in New Hampshire has a question for Mazz. Go ahead, Cameron.
Mazz, in your 2004 book, you published a quote from John Henry where he said, "There isn't anything I wouldn't do for these people," talking about Red Sox fans. He said, because there isn't anything that these people wouldn't do for the Red Sox. We owe them. My question for you is, do you think that's the same John Henry that owns the team now? Or do you think that he's developed a hostile relationship with fans because he feels like they owe him for all of the investment that he put into the team in the early 2000s?
I don't know if I'd use the word hostile, but do I think he feels underappreciated? My answer would be yes. Do I think he feels the same way about winning and giving the fans something that they, have coveted? No, I don't.
Matt just jumped on, so I'm going to call on him because he says he knows why Brown used rice. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. First time, long time. Jaylen Brown, I'm sure you're not watching his streams. I'm not either, but just to decipher it, he's in China right now.
Right.
So that is why he used the rice.
Okay. But what does he mean?
Clarify.
Okay, so that's why he used it, but what does he mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with Stu. I think he wants to be here, but it's definitely questionable. Like, I don't know why he's tweeting that. I don't want him tweeting it.
Okay.
Are you implying he could literally just be talking about rice? Because it's like the carb of China?
I just don't think so.
I don't either. He's usually tweeting in code.
Yes, he's
Well, but maybe he used that metaphor because, I understand what he was saying from that standpoint.
If I had to guess, somewhere in there, it's a contract thing. Like, I always come back to that.
Put it this way: if he's happy, why is he tweeting about the rice on the other side of the menu, or
I don't know,
the neighbor's rice cooker instead of his?
People have got it. I don't speak internet.
No, I read it as just be happy with what you got, Celtics. That's how, don't talk about your neighbor's rice. Be happy with this rice. It's good rice.
Trading him out for Giannis coming in is a mistake. That's a mistake.
Agreed.
More your thoughts coming up right after this.
Oh, yeah!
Thoughts, calls, emails.
Oh, yeah!
I get my jollies out of it. I do. I'm not a good person. Go ahead.
Felger and Mazz.
Oh, yeah!
98.5, the Sports Hub.
I thought Boston was out of this. I know Boston was out of this. And I was wondering if they were playing possum or not. I think they were playing a little possum. I think they're in on Giannis. And in general, I'm prepared for anything of Boston now. I wonder if they're going to use this opportunity with the assets they have, with the $27 million trade exception, to completely change what this team looks like. So who knows? They might not do anything, but I thought they were sitting out this Giannis thing, and I no longer think that.
I am here to add that I have heard Boston is shopping people around a lot right now, that Boston is making calls. Boston is open to trading anybody besides Jason Tatum. And that doesn't necessarily mean they land Giannis at the end of the day, but I do believe, based off of everything, all the conversations I've had, is that the Celtics are in on Giannis and that they are making a push on him, and that this seems to be currently a two-team race with Milwaukee to acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo. We'll see how it plays out, Tom, but this feels very, very real to me.
Kevin O'Connor reacting to that Simmons comment as well. Those are two heavy hitters there in the NBA world. What the hell's going on? Okay, your thoughts on that and everything else. It is an agenda-free Friday. Dean and Shrewsbury, explain.
Giannis, we're under the first apron, so we can aggregate salaries, basically add salaries to get Giannis. We're also under the luxury tax, which is actually less money than the apron, and we'll probably be under it next year. So we can have Giannis, Jason, and Jaylen all on the same team and be under the luxury tax. We'd only have room for the mid-level exception, which is like $11 or $12 million player, and the biannual exception, which is a $3 or $4 million player, and then it'd be all veteran minimum.
Right.
So
Dean.
Yeah.
I said, adding Giannis to Brown and Tatum, I can wrap my head around. I still don't know if it's going to work, but I guess I'd be in on that.
So would I. I'd be in. I've said that from the beginning. If they're adding Giannis, I'm in.
So, and that's not just fun and box office. Adding Giannis to Brown and Tatum, I mean, that's fun. I don't know if it works either, but that I would do. So White, Pritchard, the whole thing. You get everyone else. I still don't know why the Bucks would do that unless, it's just a way to facilitate the trade with the money, and then there's a third team and they're getting a slew of draft picks.
Right.
Then fine. Like, I don't think the Bucks need Jaylen Brown or want Jaylen Brown. They have to kind of go rebuild, although they don't own their own picks. It's complicated, but whatever they want picks. So that I can wrap my head around. Back to phones here. Richie in Revere with the Patriots talk. Go ahead, Richie. Richie in Revere, comment line says, Patriots re-signing Steph Diggs. Don't you think Mike Vrabel sort of put the kibosh on that this
that's
week?
how it felt to me. Like, he didn't seem like he was eager to all of a sudden kick down the door and bring him in. If they had a major injury somewhere in camp and Diggs were still out there, would they consider it? Maybe. But unless that happens, it didn't sound to me like they were too thrilled on bringing him back at the moment.
Would you be in or out?
In.
In.
I mean, again, I think it creates problems potentially. But, if Vrabel thinks he can manage it, and clearly he thinks he can manage anything. So, I would do it, sure.
Griffin and Ayer on the Celtics. Go ahead, Griffin.
Hey, yeah. I do agree with you guys where, a lot of it could be Jaylen Brown wanting to force his way out. But I do think there's a world where Brad just thinks Giannis is also a better player and doesn't want to re-sign Brown 5 more years of trade rumors, and thinks that if he can get rid of Brown now, it might as well be for Giannis, and maybe he thinks that Giannis can help change the way that the Celtics play as well. I mean, Giannis took his team to an NBA championship with not the best roster in the world, and look what Jaylen Brown did in Game 7 alone. So I don't know. I feel like Brad might think Giannis is just a better player.
Well, then he's wrong. But if Stevens thinks we've just reached the end of the road with Brown, he doesn't really want to be here, no matter what he says or what he puts out on the internet, it's pretty apparent he doesn't really want to be here. He wants a new contract. I don't know if that makes sense for us. And we've sort of run our course with Jaylen Brown. We've run our course with Jason Tatum. It's time to move on. We may not be technically upgrading or may not be a perfect fit with Giannis, but the Jaylen Brown thing, the Brown-Tatum thing's over. And so Giannis is the best we can do. I'm trying to talk myself into what the reason would be. I think Giannis is a worse basketball player, and I know the NBA world would not agree with me on that. Giannis is a perennial first-team All-NBA, top 5 MVP guy, and Jaylen Brown is like the next rung down. But I'm sorry, I've been saying this for years. I've been saying this after the Bucks won their championship. I would take Tatum over Giannis. And I back then I loved Giannis, but I'm like, I can tell it like it is. I think he's an overrated basketball player. So I just can't believe that Stevens would look there and go, I'd rather have that than Jaylen Brown. But if there's extenuating circumstances where he says, well, Giannis is the best I can do, that, I guess, kind of makes sense to me. Kind of.
Yeah, if he feels like he has to do it. The other thing is as Dean and Shrewsbury was talking, what if this is one last roundup for Tatum and Brown? What if they want to add Giannis, give those two one more shot to get another title, and then Brown's gone after the year?
No, that I got. Add Giannis. Uh-huh. Yep. Yes, sign me up. Just because that's fun. And again, I'm a little down on Giannis, maybe more than a little down. And I don't know how he fits. I think there'd be problems there. Would I rather have Giannis, or would I rather have the combination of Derek White, Hugo Gonzalez, Peyton Pritchard, whatever else? I don't know. But that's kind of a cool trade. Jeff in Watertown, what do you got for us on an Agenda-Free Friday?
Felger, I'm so fired up for the U.S. game tonight. Thanks for riding with us. Thanks for the airtime this week. Murray, you're going to get on board tonight, have a couple pops.
Jeff, tell me about this. Who's favored in the match?
We are. We're the 17th ranked team in the world. Paraguay is 25th or 30th or something.
Okay, go ahead.
Look, this is our time. Our guys play in the top leagues in Europe. I know you've heard that. We've got goal scorers. Our biggest question mark is defense and goalkeeping. Chris Richards is coming back. We don't have Turner starting in net, but I think this team can advance due to the format and our global ranking.
Okay, the format is they expanded it, so there's more teams that get out of the knockout round, right? I'm sorry, get out of the group stages.
Correct. 48 teams total. 32 will advance, the top 2 from every group, and the 8 third-ranked teams.
So if they don't get out of the group this year, that's a massive, even bigger failure than in the past.
Massive failure. They have to get out of the group round, and they have to win at least 1, hopefully 2 knockout round games this year.
Okay. I mean, I'm with you. I look forward to seeing it. Everything that I read and see, they could be entertaining. In other words, they attack. They try and score goals. They really push forward. Oddly enough, as the caller said, their weakness is in net, which is like historically the one thing we have been able to do. You get to use your hands. So, the U.S. has always had good goaltending. And for some reason, now we don't.
They're not a huge favorite tonight. USA's plus 115 on the money line.
Yeah.
So that's not right.
No, but the next best bet is a tie, and then the third bet is Paraguay.
Yeah.
So, the odds suggest that it's going to be a tie or an American win.
But like my frustration with U.S. soccer. How do we not have a goalie? How do you not have a goalie?
You would think that one would be pretty easy.
We use our hands. That's one we got. That's one we can do. We always have. Always had, representative goaltending. You're not kicking the ball around. You're catching it.
We like to grope.
No, but seriously, how do we not have a goalie?
You got me.
That to me is like we got to worry about.
Did you trade them, Swayman?
I was gonna say I don't know if soccer's like hockey or what, but that's the one that you. I mean, Howard was amazing in one of those World Cups. I can't remember which one, but we had the goaltending. That's annoying. You can't find a 6'6" fella who's athletic with good hands. You go to the effing USFL and find a guy. Like, that's crazy we don't have good goaltending. More of your thoughts coming up on Agenda Free Friday after Murray gets you updated.
Now, more of Felger and Mazz on the Sports Hub.
Happy to open it up to a little more of the soccer stuff that we did the other day. Because I think people are interested in the conversation. I know I am. If you aren't, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I just think the sport had a chance here, and they kind of blew it. And that's a really missed opportunity, I think. And I don't know if it's too late or not. And I got a million emails about what went wrong and why it's wrong and this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other. And a big one that I get is the pay-to-play stuff. It's a really cheap, inexpensive sport to play, Mazz. But not if you're elite and want to be on a club and travel and all that stuff. That cost is put on the families and the kids. Not just the cost of signing up for the club and playing for the club, but then all the travel and all of that. And to me, that just feels like such a surmountable.
Fixable.
A surmountable thing. Like, commit to it. And I have not been disabused. I've used the analogy of U.S. hockey and how they centralized it with one training facility and program based out of Michigan, and they identify elite young high school players, and they go there and they go to an academy where high school is part of it, but I think it's really secondary to the hockey. And there was money put behind it and thought put behind it, and some of the best hockey minds in the country put behind it. And internationally, hockey here in the U.S. for decades and decades and decades was not competitive. The Miracle on Ice was just that. It was lucky, or as a one-off. But as a hockey-playing country, we were way behind. And after a couple decades of that U.S. hockey program, here we are with a gold medal, and we routinely win World Junior Championships. Not the U.S. Junior team routinely wins that tournament. We win at all age groups. We win at the 18 and under and 19 and under, and we win with the big boys and the high schoolers. And U.S. hockey is a world force, and it's all because of that centralized development program. There's no reason why we can't do that in soccer. I don't get it. Identify the good young players at an early age and pay their way, and have one centralized program. Just commit yourself to it. I guess we haven't been committed to it. I mean, if the U.S. commits itself to it, why wouldn't it work?
It should.
And hire foreigners, hire Europeans to come in and run the thing. Hire South Americans to come in and run the thing. Run the best pay for the best guys in Brazil or in Europe or Germany, wherever. Bring them in. The coaches don't have to be, the coaches and administrators don't have to be American born and don't have to qualify as U.S. citizens, just the players. So go ahead. And it's just, we didn't do it. And we haven't done it. It's just aggravating. Because I do think 20 years ago or so, we were onto a little bit of something. But anyway, we can circle back to all that stuff. 617-779-0985. John in Canton. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, John. What do you got on Sox?
On the Sox, I just heard a rumor this morning, and potentially, you think Bobby Witt Jr. will come back, will get picked up by the Red Sox? I mean, they need a spark. He's in a crappy, environment.
Yeah, what's here? I mean, I hear you, John. I think the Red Sox would like to swing for the fences and do something like that.
I'll tell you what, but that's the kind of guy they should be trying to get. So, I've heard people say, don't make a deal at the deadline because you suck this year. What if you can get a guy like that at the deadline?
Why are the Royals getting rid of him?
Well, okay, so that's the good question,
They can't
Murray.
afford his contract in 2 years.
Bingo. They don't want to pay the contract.
These a-holes want to pay that contract?
He wants out. I mean, whatever.
AAV is like 26 for Bobby Witt Jr.
So I'm just saying, those markets lose those players routinely.
Yes.
Okay? So the version of Juan Soto, when he comes up to his real contract eligible years, they either have to make a decision. We spend half of our payroll on one guy, so he might be available. Would you trade everything you have for Bobby Witt Jr.?
I'd trade a lot of it. I'm
not saying you would trade Early and Tolley and Anthony and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but the answer is yes. I mean, if you're telling me the nucleus of my team could be Roman Anthony and Bobby Witt Jr. in the middle of the lineup, a right-handed bat, a left-handed bat, and I have to give up Marcelo Meyer, Peyton Tolley, or Connor Early, and Wilyer Abreu, Yeah, I would. Yes, absolutely. I think it's all about the high-end talent with this team right now. They don't have enough of it.
Nick in Rosendale with an NBA thought. Hi, Nick.
How's it going, guys? I got a couple things. You mentioned earlier in the week all these NBA home playoff losses. So I looked it up. The Celtics have lost 20 home playoff games post the COVID bubble, and the next closest team is 12. That just doesn't really sit right with me. And then real quick on Jaylen Brown, I think I'd rather have the next 5 years of Jaylen Brown than the next 5 years of Giannis. I don't know about you guys, but that's all I got.
Agree 100%.
Yeah, definitely. That's not even close.
Safer bet health-wise more than anything else.
Yeah, it's not even close.
The home playoff losses speaks to, I think, part of what's wrong here.
Sure.
They're front runners.
Yes.
And, again, I do tie it into the three-point thing. It's like, they just...
They open the door for it.
They get the building, like it's like JT for three, one of those guys hits a 3-pointer and they're shooting off confetti guns and people are dancing in the aisles and they get ahead of themselves and they sort of let go of the rope because of that dumbass play style. And I think at home, it kind of hurts them even more at home than it does on the road. Maybe more on the road, they're just a little more likely to bear down and sort of grind it out. At home, it's like and I can see it. They're kind of soft. You get punched in the mouth by these teams. And at home, you can see it. The Indianapolis Colts, which I compare you to. You're the Peyton Manning era Indianapolis Colts. They lost at home in the playoffs all the time, didn't they? So that's what you are.
It makes you soft. The style of play makes you soft.
How about Don in North Carolina on the Sox? Go ahead, Don.
Hey, guys. I appreciate you taking my call. Question. Since the Red Sox pitching is kind of in shambles, what has ever happened to Tanner Houck? Is he on the roster? And is he available to pitch for them?
Good question.
Their pitching isn't in shambles, I wouldn't say. I think it's one of the few things they've done okay.
Fair point. The team's in shambles, but where is he?
Recovering from Tommy John. So, and they have a bunch of guys. Remember Patrick Sandoval? I heard them talking about him on the midday show today. I totally forgot about him.
I did forget about him.
Yeah, they signed him to a 2-year deal. He hasn't pitched yet. And they signed him before last year. So we're about a year and a half into that deal. We've seen nothing, not seen hide nor hair of him. And it was like, I don't know, $28 million or something like that they lit on fire. More money spent on rehab guys.
How about Worcester? What's Worcester's payroll?
Well, good question.
Bayo.
Yeah, right.
Campbell.
Yep.
I don't know who else is down there, but
no.
Anthony
might have to do a rehab down there soon.
MLB payroll, not so much. Worcester? They're spending in Worcester.
And, just to get back to that, since you mentioned Worcester and, Portland, Franklin Arias, there's a shortstop in the minor leagues, number 5 prospect in baseball now. Trade him for Bobby Witt. That's easy. Make him the centerpiece of the deal and ship his ass out of here.
Long commercial-free segment comes your way next.
Boston's best sports talk. You can count on it.
2 plus 2 is a 5.
Me sento un po' battiato perché Roma Felger and Mazz.
Anunoby will inbound. Nobody guarding the inbound pass. They might just go flat for Jalen Brunson, allow him to operate at the top. 1-on-1. Brunson gets it, fires up a 3. Shot no good. The ticket's gone. It's gone. It's gone. With 1.2 remaining. Knicks take the lead. OG Anunoby. And it's 107-106. Bedlam here at the Garden. They can't
does that relate to the Celtics? Do you think that is motivating to the Celtics or a non-factor?
I think largely a non-factor. I mean, look, I just don't think there's the same rivalry with New York that there have been some other teams. In a lot of ways, it almost mean more if it was Miami or someone like that. But I don't think it, the one thing I'm hoping is that there is some sort of residual effect of the way the Knicks play. And maybe that rubs off on the Celtics and they look at it and say, we need more of that.
Well,
that they're an actual team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to think that,
and
but I have my doubts.
And that when Brunson needs a hoop, he goes inside the line.
Yeah.
More often than not. I was just saying to Murray, it didn't occur to me. That finish the other night was their version of Derek White in Miami a couple of years ago when he, tipped it in at the buzzer or followed it up at the buzzer. Except that in their case, the stakes are much higher and they're probably going to win the series. But I would hope that they at least look at the Knicks and say, we need more of that. We need more guys like Anunoby.
I would just be so sick of being the team that has the greater high-end talent that continues to get punched in the mouth and out-toughed by teams that, at least at the top of the roster, don't have your talent. That's a horrible,
they're soft, Mike.
It's one thing to lose if you're outgunned. Like, you can sort of explain that away. We're not as good as the other team. They outgun us. They have more talent. It's just not how you've been losing. Like, that's such a, God, I would hate to be that team. Soft front runners. You watch all these teams. You're not the only team that implodes against the Knicks. They have this sort of knack, I guess, of just letting these other teams shoot their way out of games. But I would be sick of being that team. Like, you want to be that team? So that to me is what would be motivating. It's like, if we lose to a team that's better than us and has more talent at the top end of it. Not some team that is just tougher or smarter or more patient. Like, that's a horrible way to go. Anyway, back to your calls. Here's Jeff at work. Jeff, what do you got on this?
Thank you for taking that first. Are we jealous, or everyone from Boston hates New York and vice versa? But the 28-3 Patriots, we lost our minds. We pissed off the whole country. But are we jealous or are we mad?
Jealous. When I hear Boston fans bringing up all the violence that's going on outside the stadium there in New York and all those thugs in New York and like all that horrible stuff, which truly is. But when I hear it from Celtics fans, why am I hearing that from Celtics fans?
Because they're not there.
They just want to make themselves feel better.
I see what you're saying.
They just want to make themselves feel better.
See, they're animals. They don't know how to handle themselves like we do.
Do you really care that they're roughing up?
I don't think
do you really care? And I do. I think it's abhorrent. But do you really care that someone with the Spurs jersey is getting roughed up? Or are you just making yourself feel better by saying, yeah, look at those animals down there. Look at the low class, and we wouldn't do that. It's just a small consolation.
They don't know how to win.
That they're acting like idiots down there. And that's only, but you don't really care. It's not like you don't lose any sleep with the Spurs fan who got roughed up. You don't care. It makes you feel better that New York fans are projecting something that isn't complimentary. So you play it up.
Well, I think part of the whole problem with the whole Celtic experience right now, including fans and organization, is their noses are a little too high in the air.
Jeff says we're jealous of New Yorkers. Andrew says we're jealous of Europeans. Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, I wonder what you guys think about like the pure. It's like some of the soccer, like the animosity or just reluctance to it is. Like, look at Zoe. He like refuses to watch the game no matter what. And then you watch these Europeans, like the South Korea game last night. You had the fans are just unbelievably fanatic.
Okay, but Andrew, and you're right. Like the Zoes of the world, the Zoes of the U.S. and there's tens and tens of millions of them. Like there's tens and tens of millions of U.S. sports fans who don't just dislike soccer. They are like they like to bag on it. Like there's a hatred of it. Who cares? I'm going to go back to my hockey analogy. 75% of the country doesn't play hockey or care about hockey. Did that stop U.S. hockey from centralizing, investing in their program, targeting young hockey players and developing them under the U.S. and building their program? Who cares? Let the meathead American football guys tease the soccer. Who cares? There's enough people who care about soccer here, and there's enough money behind it to build a program. So go build it. And let all the meathead American football fans rag on it. Who cares? Most of the country doesn't give a crap about hockey. That didn't stop U.S. hockey from doing the right thing. So who cares? That's my point on that. Here's an update from Big Jim Murray. 90 seconds, no commercials. We're right back.